That was the very talented Mr. Greg Von Meiklejohn, everybody. You got a smile so bright. You know you could have been a candle. I'm holding you so tight. You know you could have been a handle. The way you swept me off my feet. Ooh, you know you could have been a broom. The way you smell so sweet. You know you could have been some perfume. Well, you could have been anything that you wanted to, and I can tell the way you do those things you do. The way you do the things you do. The way you do the things you do. As pretty as you are, you know that you could be a flower. If good looks was a minute, you know you could have been an hour. The way you stole my heart, you know you could have been a cool crook. And baby, you're so smart. You know you could have been a schoolboy. Well, you could have been anything that you wanted to, and I can tell the way you do those things you do. The way you do the things you do. The way you do the things you do. Megan Harrison on the saxophone, everybody. You make my life so rich. You know that you could be some money. And baby, you're so sweet. You know you could have been some honey. Well, you could have been anything that you wanted to, and I can tell the way you do those things you do. The way you do the things you do. You really swept me off my feet. The way you do the things you do. You make my life complete. The way you do the things you do. You make me feel alright. The way you do the things you do. Oh, in the middle of the night. The way you do the things you do. The way you do those things you do. The way you do the things you do.
Okay. I don't really want to say how old I am, but I traveled.
In second term, ACP students who are in video go through a series of what are called studio rotations. And these are basically interview shows. This is what the audience would recognize this as. And so what happens is every student gets a chance to do one of 7 positions. So you get to direct, you get to use the switcher, you get to do audio, you get to do a couple of camera positions, you get to be on air, and you get to do a little bit of VTR, a little bit of, and these are all the positions that go into production, basically. So everybody gets a chance to do that in second term, and then I work with them. Lois and I work with these folks, and this isn't the sort of thing where we hammer stuff into people's heads. What we try to do is introduce what the job is at the time, let people do the job, and then let it sort of sit in the brain so that by the end of the term it's there without even people realizing that they've learned it. And people, when they do studio rotation here, they do everything from setting up lights to setting up microphones to any one of a million different things that go into doing a studio production. In third term, it's a little more laid back, right, in the sense that we don't do lab rotations. We don't do a regular rotation of studio stuff. You have to do one studio show, and that's basically like a news magazine show. That's kind of how they start, and this is the process that takes them down the road to this project that we ended up with in fourth term.
It's always cool to do things that are more real life situation versus, our studio where we do it all of ourselves, I guess. So I thought it was going to be a really great opportunity for us to kind of test out our skills and see if we had what it took to pull it off.
So I went into class, it was at the end of the fall term, and I said to basically the people who were going to the Olympics, look, you know, I haven't planned for you to do a studio shoot, but something has come up. We can do the Vic High R&B band, but it's going to be like January 29th, the last day before you leave, and it's going to put a lot of extra pressure on you because you've got a lot of other things going on. What do you think? And unanimously, people said, yeah, we want to do this.
Well, I was really looking forward to it because I knew that we would be missing the first multicam because of the Olympics. And when we did studio rotation in here last year, I really enjoyed the sort of everybody coming together and working as a team. The bigger the production and the more the people that are involved, the more you have to work together and find a flow, and I find that whole aspect really interesting. So I was really excited. I knew that Vic High Jazz Band was a great, they put on a great show. So yeah, I knew that it would be a lot of fun.
My initial reaction to this opportunity was, you know, I was excited. I couldn't believe that we got to work on such a large production thing, that we could have such a good time doing it and have such a great experience doing it.
Well, I'd seen them in the summer at Jazz Fest, and they were so good. And I remember there was one band, I was like, oh, they're amazing. And so I thought that was really cool that we got to actually see them live again and also be a part of it and kind of film it.
I like to see you put it right across the floor. I like to do it till you holler for more. I like to reggae, but you dance too fast for me. I like to make love to you so you can make me scream. So boogie on, reggae woman. What is wrong with you? Boogie on, reggae woman. What you trying to do? Yeah. I like to see both of you fall deeply in love. Yeah, yeah. I like to see you nude under the stars above. Yes, I would. I like to see both of you fall deeply in love. Yes, I would now. I like to see you in the raw under the stars above. So boogie on, reggae woman. What is wrong with you? Boogie on, reggae woman. What you trying to do? I want you to introduce you to the one, the only, the Mr. Hugh Mackey on keyboards. So boogie on, reggae woman. What is wrong with me? Boogie on, reggae woman. Baby, can't you see? So boogie on, reggae woman. Let me do it to you. So boogie on, reggae woman. What you trying to do? Take it away, Hugh.
On that Friday afternoon, you know, when you start setting stuff up, you don't really think about it in big terms. You don't have that perspective. Your perspective is, okay, it's 1 o'clock. We got to get the blue curtain up. We got to get the risers built. They're going to be here by 1:30 and 2. So we got to have this and this and this in place, and we got to get Don to make sure the cameras are set up and hooked up and all that. And then we've got to do this and we've got to do that. So you're not thinking in big picture terms. You're thinking about what happens next, right? What's going to happen in the next 15 minutes or the next half hour, you know?
This is probably the most technical thing that we have done over the years. Recording at the same time, live production, a recording for a CD and a DVD.
The setup was extraordinary. I've worked in live performance venues before, and you know, you get there, the band comes in, they put their gear down, they go, they have dinner, they come back for a quick sound check. This was, everyone was devoted. Everyone got here, they set up, they did what they needed to do. There was no messing around. This was a shoot, and it was a professional one.
These kids were so disciplined and they were so focused.
We set up like that all the time. You know, we have that sort of gear, as you can see in the music room here. We play with that kind of gear a lot.
I remember they had huge trucks and they were pulling stuff in and out. And for us, setting up cameras, carrying a lot of equipment, it felt very real. It was really fun. Laying cable, things like that. There was a lot of setup.
And right now, we're just getting ready to do sound check, and then hopefully we can start this thing and practice and get all the kinks worked out before we go into it, because like any multicam thing, it takes a lot of preparation and a lot of practice, so hopefully we can get something going now.
In the sound check, which was our first practice, our real first look at it, it really became obvious to me how this was going to work. The way R&B works is that there's a singer and a response, right? It's a call and response. It's very much like gospel music. So it became patently obvious that the two front cameras that were hooked into the control room were going to get the singer, and they were going to get the background singers.
Well, I thought it was really interesting actually, because we did a complete run through at the beginning. So while they were sound checking, we did a complete run through, and I would say the first song was a little iffy. You know, everyone was kind of getting their sea legs or whatever, and you know, understanding fully how to take direction or whatever they're supposed to be doing.
You know, when they started playing, I realized that, man, you know, I really have to anticipate this a lot more. And one of the things that worked in my favor, of course, is this is the music of my life, right? This is the music I grew up on. I heard a lot of these songs when they first came out.
But like, true to form, by the second song or the third song, I felt like we were all working together really, really well and adapting. Like, I'm always really impressed by how quickly all of us can adapt to doing whatever we need to do.
I was on the left-hand side of the stage, and so mainly I did not a lot of close-ups, but mainly medium shots, basically. So I would get all the dancers, because they were on the one side. I'd do a lot of shots of the dancers, also the keyboardist, some close-ups there, and some of the singers.